Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about something that I've recently done. I mean, I did it earlier this year. It's probably not recently, I guess. I went to Japan on a 2-month holiday, extended holiday, I guess you could say. It was something I'd wanted to do for a really long time, and I couldn't be happier with how it went. And I just want to share all the things I kind of did and maybe give you guys some ideas if you're thinking of going there yourself. So this is the first time I've ever been overseas by myself, and ever been on such a long flight as well. It was really exciting actually. I really enjoyed it. So there's a lot of photos of me at the airport taking pictures of these massive planes I'd never seen before. I don't know, I was just playing with my camera. I was basically getting used to being behind the camera again, which had actually been quite a long time since I'd just gone out and taken my camera and taken photos, you know? So I was just getting back into that feel of taking photos, and there's a lot of random ones of me at the airport. I'm pretty sure I Snapchatted or I put up on my Instagram as I watched them load their luggage into the plane. So it's very obvious I was not a frequent flyer, not of that, I guess not those big planes. So yeah, I flew to Sydney, and then I had a really quick stopover, and then it was about a 14-hour flight from Sydney to Tokyo, and I flew into Haneda, which was, and it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. I think I got out of the airport maybe 5:30 once I got through security and got my bags. Maybe it was only 7 hours. No, it wasn't 14 hours. It was only, I think the whole flight time might have been about 14. But it was actually only about 10 hours, now that I think about it. Was it 7? It might have been 10 on the way back. I landed there and I got out of security about 5:30, and I kind of just wanted to sort of fresh myself up, so I got changed, and then I had a little bit of an epiphany. I'm in Japan. I'm all by myself. I have no one I can just call up and say, hey, what's up? Can you do this? I had no internet connection, which I found really hard to find a place that I could either rent a cell phone or get like a pocket Wi-Fi. I wasn't too sure if I wanted one, and it was a little bit too difficult, so I ended up just not going for one at all, which I don't know if I regret that, but yeah, it happened. I didn't have internet, basically. I relied a lot on public Wi-Fi, so I was really lucky that the airport had free public Wi-Fi. So I was able to message my mum and be like, hey, I made it to Japan, I'm safe, I didn't die in a horrible, flaming plane crash. They're not really flaming, they just dive into the sea, don't they? So yeah, that's what I did, and I kind of just meandered around because it was so early in the morning, and I started to see the sunrise, and I thought, maybe I should get out of here. I was actually looking for food when I first got there, and I basically just wandered around the airport, and I found up the stairs where the restaurants were, there was this amazing, like the trees were lit up with fairy lights. I have heaps of photos of that, and I thought that was really cool, and of course the selfie as well. I went to a convenience store and I found these mochi pancakes, I think they were. They were like real cheap, so I just grabbed those. I didn't really like them, but I mean, it was food and it was early, so anything would do. And then I finally decided, okay, let's get out of here. So I found the ticket machines, managed to figure out how to get Asakusa, which is where I was staying, and rode the train direct. So I had looked this up online before I got to Japan, so I didn't have any major issues. So I just jumped on the train. I knew there was a train going straight from Haneda to Asakusa. It was once I got off and into Asakusa that I struggled a little bit. I had a Google map that I printed out, but half the problem was I couldn't figure out what street I was on, so I ended up just wandering around the streets of Asakusa at like 8:30, it must have been like 7 o'clock It only took me like an hour and a half to find where I was supposed to be going. It wasn't even that far, it was like a 10-minute walk. It was supposed to be a 10-minute walk. Anyway, I just followed the major river in Asakusa. I went somewhere. Okay, having small camera issues, so this video might be a little bit all over the place. Yeah, so I was stuck wandering the streets of Asakusa, trying to figure out where my hostel was, and I was lucky to find this massive street map. So Asakusa is home of the temples in Tokyo. The oldest temples, the biggest temples, I think. Or shrines, should I say. Shrines. Temples. Bit of both. I found a massive map, which kind of gave me a more detailed kind of picture of where I was and where I was supposed to be going. So I checked against my map, and I eventually figured out kind of where I was supposed to be going. God knows how. I didn't have any Wi-Fi or anything like that, which, you know, I'm gonna say my map skills are not terrible, so I wasn't too worried, but after wandering around for like almost 2 hours. When I got off the airplane, I was really sweaty, so I like took off all my thermals and stuff, and I just put on a t-shirt, and I just come from a summer and going into basically the middle of winter. So I was in a t-shirt and my coat and some pants, and I was starting to get pretty cold. So I think I found my hostel just in time. But it was fun. I think it's an experience for everyone is to get lost, I guess. But it was so peaceful and quiet. It must have been yeah, I think I arrived there on a Sunday, and it was a Sunday morning. It was just quiet, and no one was up, and there's hardly any cars around, there's no people around, and it was really peaceful, and the weather was perfect. It was my ideal weather, I guess, which is like blue skies, really nice and cold, no wind, but just a perfect winter's day for me. So that was fun. So I got to the hostel, and it was maybe like 9 o'clock by the time I got there, and they were really good about it because my bed was already empty, or it wasn't occupied at the time, so they said, oh, just go up and settle yourself in, which usually they don't let you do until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so I would have been walking around for a couple of hours, which I kind of knew might happen, so I was really lucky. When I got there, everyone was still asleep, so I just kind of put my bag, and then I just jumped in, made my bed, and I guess I went to sleep. So when I woke up, and it must have been like maybe like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I woken up and I heard, or it must have been like 12, because someone was vacuuming, because they do all the cleaning, of course. So someone was vacuuming, I woke up and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I don't even know if they know I'm in here right now. I don't sleep through noise, so I must have been absolutely shattered. I just, you know, got myself ready for the day, and I thought, well, I'm not gonna sit in bed. This is my very first day in Japan. I'm not gonna waste it. So I got up, got dressed, made myself look pretty, as you do, and I started to wander the streets of Asakusa. I knew I had to get food because I was pretty hungry at that point, and there were some other things I just wanted to get, like a sketchbook and things. So I just wandered around, and it was so awesome, like so awesome. It was exactly what I expected. The streets were busy. Yeah, incredible place. And so I found a department store which had probably my favorite place in Japan. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a really cool stationery brand, and I bought heaps of stuff for them over the time of my 2 months while I was there. It's just incredible. I bought some magazines. I went to a supermarket, which was really fun. I started to use a little bit of Japanese. I hadn't really used any until that point, and it was fun to sort of start using it, to see how good I really was. It wasn't too bad, like, I did pretty well. Got back to the hostel, and someone was, so people had obviously moved in, and there was a girl in there, and I was like, oh, hey, what's up? And her name was Kate, and she's from America. And her friends were in Disneyland, and she and I were like, oh, would you want to go out for tea? Even though I just bought tea, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll come out with you and get some dinner. the three of them were kind of at the end of their trip, so and one of them spoke fairly good Japanese, and the other two were just sort of tagging along for well, she in particular, Kate, was just tagging along for a bit of fun. I went downstairs to the kitchen and I had my dinner and I tried the milk, and it was the strangest thing. It didn't taste like milk, the milk that I was used to at least, and it was so weird. So one thing while I was over there was I had to get used to the taste of milk. Japanese milk, that is. Does not taste the same as New Zealand milk. I can't even explain it. Like, I guess you just have to taste the difference. I kind of made me wonder, because I asked her to try and she's like, yeah, this tastes like milk. So obviously America has a very similar taste of milk. Like, what does our milk taste like to everyone else? I'm really curious now, so I guess I have to ask people. So we went out for dinner. Well, she went out for dinner. I just sort of tagged along. Found this awesome little udon place, which we tried to go back to, but it was closed up on the days that we went back, so that was kind of gutting because it looked really tasty. And I didn't really have udon while I was there. I kind of had other things, I guess. A lot of ramen, which I can tell you about later. Yeah, so we walked around the temples. It was in the streets, and it was just everything I ever imagined. And I think that was the best bit. It was just perfect, and yeah, and everything was illuminated. I think because of the festivals, it was like mid-January, so the festivals and stuff. Yeah, we just went back and we just chatted and hung out, and it was quite relaxed. I was pretty tired at that point. Been a pretty long day. But they did talk about going to, I think they wanted to go to Shibuya the next day, and I was like, oh, I'm totally keen to tag along, you know. So I was really, really lucky. The first place I stayed at, they were, the people I was in the room with were really, really lovely, and I made really good friends, and we just hung out as a sort of group. Yeah, it was so much fun. So we went out to Shibuya and we did a whole day of shopping because it was the start of my trip and I knew I had to save a lot of money, so I just did a lot of window shopping, which was kind of heart-wrenching for myself because I love to shop and there were so many awesome things that I wanted to buy and I wanted my hands on, but I couldn't, so yeah, it kind of sucked, but it was still a lot of fun, and it was an awesome experience. I took heaps of photos, and it was everything I ever wanted. Tokyo was amazing. It just has all these little places that go up to the second or third floor, and you know, the other floors are maybe offices, and they just have restaurants in them. And so we found this complex, I guess you could say, that had maybe 3 or 4 restaurants. It was maybe like a Chinese. It was an omurice place, which I fell in love with omurice. Amazing. The best thing I've ever eaten. And just so good. My first official going out meal was omurice. No, it was lasagna souffle, which is lasagna with like fluffy eggs on top. And you wouldn't really think lasagna and egg go well together, but it was amazing. The best thing I've ever eaten. Just, so good. And I had it maybe once more later on down the track. So the other thing is that when I woke up that morning, this is my second day in Japan officially, woke up and it had been snowing, which was awesome because it doesn't really snow here in New Zealand. Well, it does, but not in the cities because all our cities are on the coast, so we miss all the snow. So it was awesome to wake up and it had been snowing, but it had started to rain, so the whole day was a slushy mess, and you can see we've got umbrellas in some of these photos. So yeah, we spent the day shopping. It was so much fun. We went to this little cafe, which you can see is glorious food that we ate. And then after that we just, I went out, took some footage of Shibuya, and Shibuya crossing, and so cool. It was just insane. I did get a little bit lost. I went wandering around, but I eventually found my way back to 109, Shibuya 109, which is like the major mall there, which was pretty cool. And I found Hachiko. That night, Aurora, one of the American girls, she was talking to the receptionist and they said that you can go and make your own okonomiyaki. So we found this little place, maybe a block or two, maybe a 10-minute walk from where we were staying, and it was so cool. It was this old little cottage, I'm going to say cottage, but I guess it's not really correct. It was this old little house, really traditional, traditional layout, and so it had the wooden floors and it had these big tables with massive hot plates in the middle, and what you do is you order what you would like, and then you get to mix it up yourself. So I think they gave you the eggs, they gave you all the vegetables or the meat in one bowl, and then they gave you the eggs, and then you put the eggs in, and then you mix it all up to make the batter, or you had the batter and then you put the batter with the vegetables. And anyways, so we made our own okonomiyaki, which is so cool. So the 6 of us who had actually been out all together that day, that night, got trashed. No, we didn't. Well, we did, but we did. But we did. Also at the hostel they have an awesome bar downstairs, and I remember at some point making my way down there half intoxicated, like fully intoxicated, and having a chat to the bartender in Japanese, which I don't know how I did it because my Japanese is terrible, but I mean obviously it was good enough to have a conversation with her. And it was really awesome to see that they had this massive flat screen TV, and they had this cool live showing of Shibuya crossing. So you just watch the people crossing, and it was just really cool. Even at, must have been like 11 o'clock at night, there was still heaps of people, and this is something that was so foreign to me that even so late at night there's still people out and about in the middle of Tokyo at like 11, because here that it's unheard of, you know. And we're just so small, we don't have the populace for it, we don't have the city for it, and if people were out that time of night, they're probably drinking, or you know, they're not coming home from work, or they're not finishing up their shopping, or finishing up dinner even, which I sort of later learned about. So that was fascinating to me, and just watching these people cross, you know, there's still maybe hundreds of people using the crossing every 5 minutes. Okay, maybe not hundreds, but dozens of people, I guess, using the crossing, and yeah, it was just fascinating. Yeah, it was just so much fun. I was really lucky to meet the people I did, and I'm so glad I went to that hostel and just by chance met some awesome people. So the next day we decided to go to Harajuku, which, fashion lover central, it was just an incredible place. It is an incredible place, and the shopping there was fantastic. I was looking for a dress for my birthday, which I wish I had bought the things I'd seen earlier, because when I went to Osaka, which is where we're next, I just couldn't find that same stuff. Yeah, and I don't know if I was looking in the wrong places, but yeah, I just didn't find it. So I wish I had bought a really nice dress in Harajuku that I could have worn on my birthday. But despite that, I did find something pretty cool, which I still wear all the time. I didn't have a lot of photos of Harajuku, which, shoot me now, but we did go and get purikura, which was cool, and we didn't tend to go to karaoke that night, but we didn't make it, I guess. Alright, another take. God, this battery is not liking me today at all. So that was the first 2 days in Japan, and it was incredible. I couldn't have asked for anything better, and I think it was maybe a few days later, it was my birthday, and I turned 21, so I couldn't think of a better way to spend my 21st birthday, and I'm so happy I went, and I can't wait to tell you about all the other things I got up to, and all the other cities I visited, and that's just the icing on the cake. Oh, well, is it the icing? Or is it like the cherries on top? Because this cake is very layered and it keeps going. That was a terrible analogy. Anyways, yeah, so this is just the icing on the cake. It doesn't make sense. You can't say the icing on the cake, because that's the best part. So this is like, and I can't say the cherry on top because that's even like the finishing touches. I guess what I'm trying to say is the tip of the iceberg. This is the tip of the iceberg of my journey. Oh, I'm not very good with analogies. Right, so next time I'm going to tell you about my trip to Osaka and my birthday and all the friends that I met up with there. So stay tuned. Thanks guys.